Hello, Namaste, Sat Sri Akal, good evening. Welcome to the S.S. Chandhok talk show. I'm your host and moderator, S.S. Chandhok. Today, we have gathered here again with talking about a very special topic, mathematics. Mathematics always had been a problem during the school time. Many of you might also had a phobia of that mathematics in your school time also. We are seeing this problem is from ages and it is happening till now. So what we see is that till grade 5, the children, they enjoy mathematics. When it comes to the middle school, they start having a phobia of mathematics, that it is going to be a very difficult thing for them. Although it is not right, this phobia has to be removed. It is happening till now. How we can, what are the reasons behind it, and what are the remedies we can find out to remove this, monster or phobia, whatever we can call among the students in our school, as well as we what messages we can pass on to the other principals and educators and the math teacher, how to make maths more interesting and more beautiful. Without taking any time, I'll introduce you the very special eminent guest present from a special place, Delhi, my favorite place and my favorite person, Vivek Gupta sir. He is the one of the member of the the committee of the school, as well as the principal of Bal Bhavan School, Delhi. Welcome, Vivek sir. It's a pleasant surprise, and it's happy to see you once again on the S.S. Talk Show. You have so much knowledge, so much you have gained during your education, experience, that it's very good to have you over here and to speak about a special topic about mathematics. Sir, although most of the people know you, but still we will like to have your introduction, that you came into this profession by chance or by choice, from your starting of the journey in the school and now as a senior principal.
Thank you so much, Chandok sir, for inviting me to your show. Good evening, everybody. And since you've asked me to introduce myself, so you have already mentioned that I am currently heading Bal Bhavan Public School, Mayurvihar Phase 2 in Delhi. And, as regards with me being into the education sector, it's not by chance. It is the destiny that got me here. And I believe that my family, because all of us are the educationists in our family, and that penetrates down to me as well. And when I saw my father, my grandfather working, toiling so hard for the institution, that gave me a lot of, what should I say, the courage to take up this as my profession. And seeing them working so hard, I felt that, probably I am also meant to be into the education sector. And definitely, I will be able to bring certain newer changes into the arena, keeping in mind the 21st century learners and the education system into our consciousness. So that is about me. And if you talk about my passion, so my students are my passion. They give me a lot of energy. And whenever I am around them, I think that we just forget that we are ill or we had some other issues going in the background, and we just enjoy ourselves being with the students and their company. Thank you so much, sir.
That's amazing, sir. Wonderful. And you are doing a lot of efforts, as I've seen, and people see that what efforts you're putting up in your school, that legacy you are drawing it forward to make it the best, one of the best school in Delhi. Thank you so much, sir, and welcome. Next, we have Dr. Ruchika Bhutani, ma'am. She is the principal of S.A. Jain Vijay Vallabh Public School in Ambala. That's also a very prestigious and a very old school, I suppose, in Ambala. Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming up to the show for the first time. Ma'am, please let us know about your educational journey.
Thank you, Chandok sir. I'm Dr. Ruchika Bhutani, Principal S.S. Jain Vijay Vallabh Public School, Ambala City, and I have been in education for the last 28 years. So my journey started from being an assistant professor in university, and then I worked in college for so many years, and destiny took me to the school. Actually, it is by chance that I came to the school, but I was meant for the education fraternity, but school was not the first choice for me. It was the college and university, because I cleared my UGC and everything, and therefore I was in the university. a friend of mine happened called me to her school, and the journey began from there. And now I am the principal of this school from the last 5 years, and this is how I am in education, and I'm loving it so much. Although this is a position of so many challenges, but when you accomplish or when you conquer those challenges, the kind of contentment you get, it is priceless. So I
Abs-
believe everybody is facing the same thing, and I can see the pride on everyone's face that yes, we are doing it every day.
Absolutely right, ma'am. Especially after pandemic, during pandemic and after pandemic, we are feeling much more proud of
Absolutely,
ourselves. Everything started, but
absolutely.
education did not stop. That is for sure. And we are proud to be educators. Especially as Vivek sir says, we are teachers. Basically, we are
We are
teachers.
teachers. We are
Thank you so
teachers.
much, ma'am, and welcome to the show, ma'am. Next, we
Thank you,
have
sir.
another my pleasure, ma'am. And next, we have one more Ruchika, ma'am, Ruchika Sukhija, ma'am. She is the principal of Mahavir Senior Model School, Delhi. Welcome, ma'am, to the show. I've heard about you a lot, but you have come for the first time to the show, ma'am. Please let us know about your educational journey, ma'am.
Right. Yeah. Thank you so much, and namaskar to everyone. Yes, sir. I have been called here by you for the first time, and I'm very glad to have this diverse and very learned group. So, thank you so much for making me a part of this journey. My educational journey began 22 years ago with another school in which I worked for 6 months. And then for pursuing my post graduation, I left that school. And after that, I joined this school itself, Mahavir Senior Model School. I joined this school in 2000 as PGT English. And 10 years later, I was promoted to the post of HOD English. And in 2019, I was promoted to the post of the principal. So it's almost 22 years now that I have been in this journey. Uh, Also, I think, being a teacher, as Sir said, yes, it brings unprecedented joys. The moment you go to the classroom, you actually forget everything. You are among the children. You are on a different page altogether. You are a different person altogether. So when you actually go to the classroom, you shed lot many things and you acquire so many things, and then you go to the classroom, and the scenario is altogether different. Apart from that, now I feel that as a principal, I feel I am able to touch all the more lives. I have never interacted before this. I had hardly interacted, let's say, with primary classes. I think they bring altogether different kind of joy. The way they emulate you, you are a role model. The way you stand, the way you speak, they emulate everything. The small little things that they do. For example, we are celebrating the 40th year of our school, and the other day they came and they called me to their class, and they had a special birthday party for the school. So the small gesture touched me, and they said that, ma'am, it is the reciprocal gesture that we are doing because of what teachers are doing to teachers are doing for us day in and day out. So I think these small little accomplishments every day makes that all the challenges worthwhile. I think if we are able to touch these little lives in any way, I think it's a successful job. Thank you so much.
Absolutely right, ma'am. Because I always say, or everybody will agree, we will never grow above 18 because we are in the age group of 3 to 18. So we will never get retired. Although government may say us retired, people may say us, but will not get retired. You see, when you see the happy faces of the pre-primary kids, especially when you come up to the school, and when they are saying that tiny hands, when they're saying bye to you, you feel so happy with that. All the stress is moved away when you see them. You're absolutely right. When you are PGT or teaching some subject, you are confined to the senior classes only. But now you feel that pleasure, that respect, which you get from the students as well as the society also. Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming. Next, we have Varsha Kokil, ma'am. She is the principal of Mansukh Bhai Kothari National School, Pune. Welcome, ma'am, Varsha, ma'am. Thank you so much for coming. You also have come for the first time to the show. Please let us know about yourself. Did you came into this profession by chance or by choice, and from a teacher to a principal?
Good evening, everyone. And it's really wonderful knowing all of you. Though we are on a different part of our country, and this online gives us this opportunity to interact with or know each other. I started my journey as a research associate in Indian Institute of Education, wherein basically we were into teachers training and their preparation for various projects and various educational interventions at the school level. And after being into research, I realized that my true calling is in the school. And gradually I entered the school, and very soon because of a few skills, all the principals they do have, they don't realize it initially. Very soon I was into the leadership team. And I feel that there are lakhs and lakhs of teachers and very few become principal. And there is no course to become a principal. So there has to be something innate which makes them different from others. They are teachers at the core with a little extra something that one has to identify. And so far,
Absolutely.
yes.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, there is always one engine in the train, ma'am. How can all the bogies can be engine, ma'am? So there is only one principal in the school, so many teachers and staff, and that is entirely different. That leadership quality, if you are having, because you have to pass through, give an exam of many years as a teacher, then you become principal. This is, hardcore, a hardcore work, or, you have to do that. You have to prove yourself first as a teacher, then only you can become a leader. There are many people, those who prove themselves to be very good teachers, but they are not able to become leader. So that qualities should also be into there if you want to become a leader. That is why we are proud of all the the educationists or the leaders who are looking after the schools in the whole world. Thank you so much, Varsha ma'am. Thank you so much for coming. Next, we have Dr. Sunita Vishesh ma'am. She's the principal of Maheshwari Girls Public School, Jaipur. Welcome, Sunita ma'am. As I know, Maheshwari School has a lot of branches in Jaipur, I suppose.
Yes.
Yes, because Ashok Vaid sir is also from there. He was into the show 2-3 episodes back. Who is your Saudi president also?
Right.
Yes, sir. Please let us know about your school also, as well as about yourself also.
Right. So, namaskar everyone. I'm hailing from S.S.Chandhok, Jaipur. First of all, I must thank you, sir, that you have given me an opportunity, because post-COVID, this is something which good has happened, that we can connect virtually across India, rather I'll say pan world. We are connecting with people, and that is the beauty of this pandemic situation. We should feel kind of positive about it. So thank you, first of all, and it is my pleasure that I am among the luminaries here. Myself, as I could hear from others also, that it is always man proposes, God disposes. Even I was not into school education. I was a CSIR Senior Research Fellow, awarded a fellowship from CSIR. I pursued my postdoctoral research for a year, and then one fine day I realized that no, I'm not meant for this research work. So I entered into PG teaching initially, because that was the year when microbiology started in Rajasthan. So the first pioneer batch of microbiology was taught by me as a postdoc fellow. Later on, I entered into UG teaching, and finally I settled at school teaching. And today, if I look back, I think I had no other options left. Today, I cannot think beyond students and beyond this education fraternity, and especially catering to the students. And as you rightly said, sir, being a teacher, I enjoyed 15 long years, rather 16 long years. It has been almost 26 years I am in the field of education. And I had been teaching biology and biotechnology for almost 15 long years. And after that, because again, we were not satisfied by quenching our thirst with a very small bit. And as ma'am said, that everybody is endowed with that innate potential. So that burning desire took me to become a principal. And it is almost 8 years I've been working as a principal. And as you say, that when we are teaching, we are restricted to a very small class groups. But when it is students, yes, we have realized past 2 years that if the students are not around, there is no life for a teacher. So we get that positive energy, that positive vibe from that innocence of students, from especially the primary group, when they come and they hug you, they feel so easy with you once they are near you. Till they are not coming and approaching you, they are scared. But the moment they come and hug you, they are so comfortable, and their innocence keeps you moving. So it is basically past 22 years I'm in Jaipur. Prior to that, I was at Alwar. So it is an absolute pleasure to be here on your show, interacting with you. Yes, Maheshwari fraternity has almost 8 institutions catering to school education, one college, and almost 5 branches for pre-primary group. So though it is all located in one city, but yes, we are catering to almost 25,000 students.
That's amazing, ma'am. Thank you
It's
so
an
much, ma'am.
absolute pleasure.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
and welcome, ma'am. Next, we have Nirmal Shah, sir. Let me introduce him formally first. He is the co-founder of Counting Well, a maths learning app for middle schoolers. Their goal is to make maths learning more easy, anxiety-free, and participative for children across the country. Their focus is to help the so-called average students to become more confident with maths and develop great problem-solving skills. They step in where school teachers are not able to provide personalized attention due to lack of time and bandwidth. He is also designed career maker and life lesson maker courses he has made for the age group of 10 to 14, built around mathematics. Their funda is that kids must know that maths matter and it will matter throughout their life. The best way to do is to show them how. So when I met Nirmal sir in one of the show where we were co-speakers and I came to know about Counting Well, so I was surprised and when he told me everything about the AI-based app which have come for as of now, because the problem of mathematics is being as a very chronic or old disease which is happening with the students, which in our time also maybe 30 years, 40 years, 35 years or 25 years back, and it is happening still now. The teachers are going inside the classes, they are solving 2 to 3 sums or 4 sums at the board, and students, they are not very attentive. Students are not taking too much interest because they are not able to understand properly. The traditional method is going on, and at the very same time, there are many reasons that the parents, the teachers, and everybody says now maths is going to be a big thing for you. So that creates a level of phobia among the students. I had been calling many, or maybe some of you also might be having the maths phobia, because principals also say that maths, oh no, we love to come to your show, but when you talk about mathematics, we don't want to come because it's not our subject or put it. So when principals, when they get feared of this, and there are some also who say that, okay, we had that phobia in our time, we want to come into it, we want to understand that, and we want to take it back to our schools and how we can make the changes inside the school. So it's a disease which has been going on since long, and it is carrying forward. So we as an educationist, we have to look forward. And I thought to start up this, this season, and I requested Mr. Nirmal Shah, who had the courage when I asked him, okay, sir, how did you have the courage of starting an app which is based to mathematics? People with the subject with the runaway, you made it a subject, an app with mathematics, and why started up with middle school only? So I won't say much. I'll come up to Nirmal Shah, sir. Nirmal Shah, thank you so much, sir, for coming up to the show. Please let us know about yourself. How did it came into your mind to start up this app for mathematics? Because sometime it might have come to your mind that this problem is is there with the children of the middle school students. And why from middle school only? Why not from the very starting? Sir, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Always a pleasure to be part of this show. It's always been a wonderful experience interacting with stalwarts of the education industry, great principals, directors, academicians. So I learned a lot from this. So even though you call me as an expert, this is really a learning session for me. So why we started Counting Well? Before starting Counting Well, I was in the IT industry. I used to manage the Indian business of a multinational software company. And as part of that job, what I used to do is to hire from a lot of colleges directly. Now, we all know that, this is commonly known that what is taught in the colleges does not align directly with industry. So we knew that. So when we were hiring people for programming jobs, we did not ask them programming questions. We asked them basic logical thinking, analytical thinking, mathematics questions. And I have hired from the older IITs, IIT Guwahati, IIT Roorkee. I've hired from the new IITs. I've been to IIT Ropar, Mandi. I've been to Jodhpur, pretty much spread out across the country. And I've done this for about 8 or 9 years. And the common thread across all of them was that even though these children cleared the JEE and they could answer JEE questions, they could tell me mathematical formulas. But when I asked common sense math questions, they could not answer them, right? When I asked simple questions that require logical thinking or analytical thinking, they could not answer it. Simple things like, fractions, ratios, decimals, percentages are all one and the same thing, but they don't know that. So we were starting to think that why is this a problem, right? Now we understand that their programming skills may not be at par with industry because that is not what is taught, but this is just basic maths. And this is basic maths, not engineering college maths, right? And then I was also observing my own son as he moved from primary to middle school. And I could see a change in his attitude towards mathematics as well. And that's where it struck me that the problem starts to show up. And I would not say that the root of the problem is in the middle school, but it starts to become very visible in the middle school, because that is where a number of concepts start getting mixed. The parents are not able to give enough attention to the child anymore. That is the time when the parents say, "Ye to mujhe bhi nahi samajh mein aa raha hai, tum kaise karo?" Right? So this is the stage at which it happens. So one is that all these kind of comments start building the anxiety and fear in the child. But also second is that the kind of attention that the child needs is actually more personalized, but that personalized attention starts to wane away, right? Till the primary school, sometimes in many schools, there are even 2 teachers per class. The children are playing, there's no such thing as a maths class and a science class and so on, right? So it doesn't really feel like study so much. But come 6th grade, this whole thing starts coming up. So that's where we realized that we need to attack this problem at the middle school level. And then we started thinking about what exactly is this problem, right? Now, are we saying that the teaching is not happening? That is not true, right? Teaching is happening in the classroom and teachers are putting their best effort. So what is the gap? Then we kind of created a software to do an analysis to identify where these gaps are and why are these gaps coming. And what we found is that the problem is not purely about knowing the concepts in mathematics. The problem is also about developing problem-solving skills. And what are these problem-solving skills? First one is actually not maths at all. The first skill that the child requires is language comprehension, right? They need to be able to understand word problems. Only then they can solve the word problems. And we realize that they are not able to understand, because what happens in the class, I teach the triangles chapter and I give any problem related to triangles. I know that it is in this chapter, so it is a triangles problem. But in the examination, when I get a word problem and where there is some kind of concept of triangles involved, some concept of algebra involved, the child just gets confused, right? Child does not know what to apply where. First, they have to understand that problem. Second, they have to apply these multiple concepts and then put together a solution, what we call as modeling a solution, right? They have to be able to have that skill. It is a skill. It is not something that they could read a book and learn. They have to develop that skill. It comes with practice. It comes with attention being given to them when they are solving problems. So these were 2 major gaps. And then, of course, you can say that calculation, conceptual knowledge and all that, but that is something which they can do just purely by a lot of practice. So then we did a pilot. We went to a few schools and we said, we want to do some kind of test of our hypothesis. And we did it up with about 1,500 students in the middle school. And our hypothesis came to be true, exactly as we anticipated. Language comprehension was the biggest problem. Modeling was another next problem. And we took all of this back to the principals and they said that, look, everybody comes and tells us these are the problems, right? Everybody shows the problem. You guys have to come up with a solution. So then we kind of had to take a step back and we decided that what Counting Well actually has to be is this solution to this problem which exists, which is that the children have these kind of problem solving skill gaps. We have to be able to identify these gaps and help the children fill them. And we have to be a part of that education system. We cannot say that we will do this as an entirely separate entity. We have to become a part of that whole schooling system and the schooling process. So we also had to make sure that, we kind of give a formative assessment flavor to it, where we assist the teachers, where we assist the schools. At the same time, we are actually helping the children develop the confidence and the problem solving skills to attack these maths problems. So that's the start of Counting Well.
So let us know about that concept when you had given to the teacher, 8th class teacher, 6th
Yeah.
class problem.
Yeah. So this was a very interesting situation which happened where we gave, when we gave these assessments to the students, the principals came back and said, "Can you do this assessment for our teachers as well?" And we're not really from this education industry at that time. This was about 5 years back when we were building this whole thing, and we were very excited. We said, "Chalo karte hain, usme kya hai?" And we went and did that. And what we saw was that, one, all the teachers had the same problems that the children had. They also had the comprehension problem. They also had the modeling problems. They were not able to solve these kind of problems. And the same thing happened with children. The other thing, which was even more shocking, was that one of the teachers called me and she said that this problem that you have here is from a chapter in 6th grade. I am an 8th grade teacher, so I cannot solve this problem. And it was really shocking, right? Because especially with maths, you expect that it will build up. But what we realize is that the teachers are so engrossed in what they have to teach at that moment in time that they just don't look beyond. They don't have the time, they don't have the bandwidth. And that is where we also realize that we have to involve teachers in whatever we are building.
Absolutely right, sir. They have so much of a workload they have. You will see, you can identify, it is said that you can identify a math teachers throughout the school. Math teacher all the time with a sad face that I have to complete so many exercises. 40 students in the class, 40 minutes, period. How can I go up with all the things together? I have so much pressure on myself. That is for sure. We like to know other things also in the later part of the session. Sir, that what are the things you have added up, which you say that you make one teacher into 40 teachers for the 40 students. We'll know it further in the further part of the session. Thank you so much, Wilbur sir, for coming up to the show. It's a very interesting topic, very interesting thing, which is, I am very desperate that they should reach all. And the best part is that Nirmal sir is giving this app for free to all the schools. So this is the best thing, because schools are not able to, have so much expenses after pandemic, because they have to see up to their budgets also. But although we'll also try to understand what is good about the product, it's not about the paying or not paying, but it's about what actually is helping. Is it helping the students only, or it is helping the teachers as well as the parents as well as the students also? Thank you so much, Ilbas sir. We'll come up to the next round, which I'll suggest as a suggestion round, not as a question round. Vivid sir, I'll come up to you first. We would like to know your views on the saying that when children come up in the middle school, maths becomes a phobia or a monster for them. What are the reasons behind that, sir?
Right. Thank you, Chandhok sir, for that question. And I think what Nirmal sir has already shared, I would also go on the same lines. But before I will share my views on this, there is one thing which is very important to understand. There is a learning outcomes document by NCERT for all the classes, which recently came out. And it very clearly says that there are twin concerns. There are two concerns as regards with mathematics curriculum in the classes and at school level. So I'll just read that for you. So what can mathematics education do to engage the mind of every student? That is the first concern. And the second is develop the students' inner resources to make them critical and creative. So, this is completely in line with the National Education Policy 2020, where our objective of teaching mathematics in the classroom is not just making them write the question paper and give them scores and promote them to the next standard. The idea here is that we need to develop that critical thinking and reasoning amongst the children, which can help them, create more algorithms in future, which probably, is needed at the moment. When we talk about education system 10, 15 years back, we saw that artificial intelligence, data sciences, all these things are still upcoming ventures, right? But the logic behind it is all mathematics. The reasoning, the logical reasoning, the calculations, the algorithm. So we have to prepare the children for that job, which probably will exist in 2030, and today it is nowhere on the reality, right? So as Nirmal sir was also saying, that when he's interviewing people, he observed that whether the person is having the logical reasoning and the aptitude towards that, the basic logical reasoning and mathematical computation skills, rather than the advanced level of it. So this is the first level of this thing. Number two, what I feel is that after primary classes, when the children move up to the middle classes, the problem is that, as also mentioned by sir, number one problem is mathematical vocabulary. We as teachers, we feel that I am a mathematics teacher, I have to teach the concepts, but I have also ensured at my school that there is a mathematics dictation happening in the classes, especially at the middle level. So when you introduce the concepts of geometry, the perpendicular, parallel, diagonal lines, consecutive, angles, intersections, when I was in class 6, believe me, I was unaware about these terminologies. And every time there was the teacher speaking these words, I had to open up the dictionary and understand what exactly she's trying to tell me by parallel lines. So a grade 6 child, probably today the children are very quick and we introduce these vocabulary words even in the upper primary classes. But if you go down to the depth, it is very important. You talk about mathematics, you talk about sciences, you talk about social sciences. It is very important that the vocabulary related to that particular subject is dealt by the concerned teacher in the classroom. Very, very important. So comprehension will automatically follow if the vocabulary is introduced to the children. That's the first part. The second thing which is very important is we have to ensure that we are making mathematics more realistic to the children. I introduce variables to the children in class 6. I introduce algebra to them. I talk about linear equations to them. But the children do not know what linear equation and algebra will do to them in the life. So I have to create that opportunity for my child where he is able to relate that, okay, if I'm talking about algebraic expression, I am talking about, maybe my father is doing tax calculation, the liabilities, the tax liabilities, and I have to find out which slab I'm talking about. Maybe, I'm talking about budgeting, or if I'm talking about linear equations, then maybe it is about speed, time, and distance equation that we use in physics. So a lot of work in mathematics had to be subject integrated, and we have to have a multidisciplinary approach today in the school if we want a child to actually analyze and understand and use that particular thing in the daily life. So the learning outcome books talk about two things. One is the learning objective. Why am I going to teach this particular topic? What is expected out of the child? And the other is the learning outcome. Now, this learning outcome is something that the child is going to show in the life and not in the question paper and the answer sheet, which is very, very important. So I have to prepare the child to use the mathematical operations of addition, multiplication, subtraction, division that he can apply when he's going out in the market and purchasing something. Probably I give my son 2,000 rupees and tell him that, you have to buy 5 kgs of rice, this and that. These are the word problems, right? What we call word problems in mathematics. So if I am not able to prepare the children for this particular thing, then the child, that mathematics is absolutely vain for him. It's of no use. Now in primary classes, we teach them the concepts about measurement. We talk to them about money. We talk to them about time. These are basic things that they are able to relate to. They know that, okay, if I know about the concept of time, I will be able to read the time properly and inform somebody and understand what the other person is trying to say. But when this time concept goes beyond, and I have to tell him that now you have to convert the Indian time to the US time and the US time to the Australian time, it takes time in that conversion. So we want the children to understand that particular concept and apply it in the real life. That's the real time calculation or the conversion that we are talking about. Similarly, about money, when I'm talking about Indian rupee, I have to convert it into US dollars, I have to convert it into the pounds, I have to convert it into the Hong Kong dollars, wherever I am going. So that's the application of my money part, which probably my middle classes is not teaching me. And I will probably learn it from Google at my own self. That's very important. Then if I am talking about, making the child feel comfortable in the classroom, what is happening in the classroom is I teach the topic to the child, my lesson plan is developed, it is going to go perfect. But what I am analyzing in my question paper in the answer sheet is that my child is supposed to solve 10 questions in 20 minutes or in 30 minutes or whatever time the teacher decides is appropriate. What am I preparing the child for? Is it the faster calculation that I need the child to prepare for? Or is it the correct calculation that I'm preparing the child for? So the first thing will be the correct calculation rather than focusing on the time management. So, and in the middle classes, when that pressure comes in, that you have to be correct as well as quick, both the things, these young children probably are not able to handle that. And that raises the anxiety amongst the children. And that anxiety is the most important cause of their worry and their alienation from the subject. So that's my understanding about mathematics from my personal experience and from what I have observed at my school with my children and teachers.
So how was mathematics with you during the middle school and the higher classes also?
So up till class 8, it was absolutely okay. I was performing very well. But when I got into secondary classes, mathematics suddenly became a phobia. That, this is happening, you have to do all the questions, you have to prepare for the board examination. It was a phobia. But then I realized that my teacher, in fact, helped me. I realized that mathematics needs time. You have to sit and understand, why am I doing it? So when I am going in the classroom, I am taught how to factorize. I am told how to do LCM, HCF, but I am not told why am I doing it. So the first thing a mathematics teacher should do is, why am I teaching you this subject and how is it going to help you in the life is very important. So if I have not done that, I will never be able to relate to the child, and the children will not understand, and they will take it only as a discipline and not as a life skill that is needed in their future.
Actually, practical approach they don't take. When you see someone you're going to an illiterate person asking different quantities of a thing, maybe a green crosser or whatever it is, within a fraction of seconds, being illiterate, he will tell you how much money you have to pay. But if you give that in the word problem to a child, he'll start putting up the formulas.
Correct.
You are putting up this formula because sir has told me, ma'am has told me. Why you are putting it? This thing, why is not clear to the students?
No understanding of that concept is not there.
Sir, we and the teachers have to understand that playway method is not confined now to pre-primary only. It has to be from PG to grade 12 at least.
Agreed, sir. Agreed. And that is why CBSE has laid a lot of emphasis on the mathematical activities, the maths lab activities that we are doing with our children in the classroom from class, early years, from class 1 and 2 itself. So data handling, when we were at school, probably we were introduced about data handling in class 4 or 5. But today, class 1 child also knows what a histogram or a pie chart looks like, and they're able to do it. So that analysis, that data handling, the statistics part, the handling of data, we are teaching the children from class 1 today, which is very, very important. Right? The Venn diagram, the concepts of Venn diagram that remains associated with EVS only, that actually comes from mathematics. So then only, you're going to relate all this.
Sir, mathematics is on all the aspects of life. Even a housewife, she is cooking food, or someone who is cooking, male or female, whoever is cooking the food, even there also you have to take the ratio. So the ratio proportion is there, mathematics is there. So children have to understand that in every aspect of life, you need mathematics, and those who are good in mathematics, we have seen that they do very good in their life.
Right.
Because they know how to, calculate the things according to, and their brains also develop accordingly. That is very important.
Correct. So basically what I will sum up here is that mathematics is like going to a gym for your brain. It sharpens your brain. It further improvises your reasoning and the logical part and the computational skills, which is very
obviously reasoning and all that part also increases. Thank you so much, sir. We'll come up to Ruchika Bhutani, ma'am. Ruchika Bhutani, ma'am, same question I'd like to ask from you, that when the children they reach in middle school, they start having phobia of mathematics, or they regard it as a monster. Why?
Thank you so much, Chandhok sir. We all know that mathematics is an indispensable part of any school curriculum. And knowingly or unknowingly, we all use mathematics in every facet of life. But the irony is, 80%, or I should say 90% of the students, they hate math. The reasons are simple and there are many. Number one, as Vivid sir said, there is lack of relatability. Many students who loved mathematics till in the junior classes suddenly start hating mathematics because the cognitive domain of that child the horizon has increased, and the child is unable to relate it to the everyday life. The child is learning the formulas, the child is learning the theorems, but the child doesn't know how to use it in everyday life. What is the use? And here I would say there is aversive teaching also. The teacher plays an important role in everyone's life. Uh, Not all teachers are effective in their jobs, but it is, for some, it is only a job. For some, they think they concentrate more on completing the syllabus, or maybe there's lesson plans and neat and clean notebooks, where the actual learning takes a backseat. Uh, I'll give you a small example. When I went to class 8 that day, I asked them, have you learned how to calculate area? They knew it, how to calculate it. Okay, I ask you a simple question. You've ordered an 8-inch pizza and you have paid for it. But the manager says, I do not have 8-inch pizza, but instead I'll give you 2 pizzas, that too of 5 inches. So will you accept that offer or not? So everyone was ki, theek hai, 5 plus 5 is equal to 10, but 8 is lesser than 10. I will readily accept. Here they are mistaken. This is not a good deal. Now they have to calculate the area of that pizza. Actually, it is lesser than the 2 pizzas. If you tell them such kind of questions, or if you ask them such kind of questions, they will be inquisitive to learn the area of any circle. They would like to learn what happened, kya hua, ma'am, how is it less? So it all depends on the teacher, how the teacher takes up the problem and how the teacher introduces the subject as well as the topic. Um, Third major problem here is, like sir said, it is herd mentality. Most students look up to persons who have a greater impact in their lives. It can be a parent, it can be a friend, it can be a teacher, anyone. And if they do not like mathematics, the child probably also adopts the same attitude towards the mathematics. They do not experience it on their own. Actually, the belief system has developed over the years. Everyone in the school, maths what tough hai, maths what tough hai. They do not experience it themselves. They don't want to do it. तो सब जब कह देंगे एंड तो वो कहते हैं ना कि एक इट इज गॉस्पल ट्रूथ की सब कह रहे हैं तो यही है कि मैथ्स तो बहुत टफ है, इसके अलावा तो कुछ और हो ही नहीं सकता कि इट इज टफ एंड टफ. The next problem I believe at mathematics involves using multiple steps and it requires a lot of practice. It requires a lot of patience also, and we all know that our students, they are highly impatient these days. फटाफट से learn कर दो, इतना सा है. They do not want to calculate the theorems, or they do not want to calculate bigger sums कि ये derivation कैसे आएगा, क्यों आएगा, how will, क्या करना है हमको. I don't want to take. And the major problem I have seen is they make up their mind in the middle class only. Ma'am, I don't want to take up mathematics in the higher classes. I will not study. It is very difficult to make them understand that you are not studying mathematics just to take non-medical or mathematics in the commerce. It is just for your everyday life. These things have to be told to them, that mathematics is not only, but here I suppose as parents also we have certain duties, because I believe my parents, when I was young, I was very good in mathematics for that matter, but I did not take up in my higher studies. What my father used to do is, suppose the washerman came to our house, these many clothes, this paisa for a cloth, now you calculate and tell me. What does it cost? कितने पैसे देने हैं धोबी को? And if we had gone to buy something, okay, this is for this much, 500 grams, I am buying this. How much money I have to pay to the vegetable vendor? So he always wanted me to calculate things in our everyday life. Nowadays, parents do not do so. Parents कहते हैं अच्छा मैथ्स का ये सम है, वो खुद ही नहीं करना चाहते. The parents, they don't want to do themselves as well. They are not bothered. अच्छा भैया कितना बिल हो गया? They don't calculate these days. कितना बिल हो गया? They are going to pay the sum. That's all. Who will calculate? They have phones in their hands. They have calculators in their hands. तो वो फटाफट से, even for a small calculation, the parent will pick up a phone and अच्छा भैया इतना हो गया, इतना हो गया. If the child emulates the parent, for a small calculation also, if a parent is picking up the phone, the child will also emulate the same. The child will also say मुझे क्या करना है ना करके, calculator पे हो जाती है ना calculations. What will I do in my life? I don't want to do it. So that is what, and
That is truth, ma'am. Instantly they take up
true.
their mobile and they add up. Okay, take even they don't say
Everything
see
is
it
on their
also.
mobile. Yes.
Right, absolutely right.
Because
They
nowadays
the
the
first
parents even
learning is
don't
from
want
the
to
home
do it.
only. The first learning
The
is from the
first
home
learning.
only when they get their atmosphere.
Actually, it has to be a collaborative effort. If we are doing an effort at school level, we expect the parents also to extend
Right,
a
ma'am.
hand to us. At least they are also doing it for that.
Right.
And that is
That's
all my take for this.
That's right, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. These are the realities which I have told about that. It is we need the cooperation of the parents also. We need the cooperation of the teachers also, because they say, better you have to do a lot of maths. It's very difficult. It is very difficult. When it comes into the mind of the child, if something is there, it is very difficult then. Thank you so much, ma'am. We'll come up to Ruchika Sukija, ma'am. Ma'am, we'll come up to you. We want to know your views on the same that in your opinion, why do middle school students lose interest in mathematics?
Sir, I think with sir and Ruchika ma'am has already answered and covered all what that as educators we wanted to say. I'll just add a few points to that. First, I think as ma'am said, there are several times there are early association with mathematics which are quite fearful in nature. And if we talk about fun time at home, we do say right from the beginning when we take parenting sessions, when anybody takes parenting sessions, they say we should read to the child. We should do storytelling together. But it never comes to mathematics. So when we are thinking of a home scenario, maths is never fun. So maths is always associated with the fear right in the beginning. Imagine a primary school child coming to the home, showing the marks, etc. If in Hindi or in English or even in social studies or EVS, he has got lesser marks. Ma'am will say or mother will say, okay, you can do it later. You perhaps need to learn it better. But when it comes to mathematics, the scenario is altogether different. So they say it is already difficult. Perhaps you are not putting in enough practice. That is why you have failed. So that fear is inculcated, I think, right from the beginning, consciously or unconsciously. And as you very rightly said, even the principals are fearful. We go to so many schools and then there are principals who say that we never look into the finances. We never look into the finances because that doesn't make too much of sense to us. And when they are interacting with the parents, with the students, they also say the same thing. Mathematics is a very difficult subject. This is what you are supposed to do. Apart from that, I also feel that mathematics is sequential learning. Right? Your basics need to be very clear, and then only you can take a step ahead. Somehow we miss upon that. If the child is absent, if the child has missed upon a concept, or even if the child was present and he has missed upon that concept is not clear. We, in our rush of doing the syllabus, finishing the curriculum, move to the next step. And that lacuna, that vacuum is going to be there. Right now in class 5th, it would have a very small impact. Later on, it will have a bigger impact. And in senior classes, of course, the repercussions are truly seen when the child is not able to see, as Nirmal sir was saying, even the simplest of the things. They can crack JEE problems, but they cannot do simple ratio proportion questions. So I think that sequential learning needs to be taken care of. Ruchika ma'am also said that this generation do not have perseverance like perhaps we did. And yes, I do call it an instant coffee generation, wherein they need instant gratification. They need instant results. So it's not a bread generation. When you have to actually make bread, you have to put in a lot of efforts and you have to wait for the yeast and everything. It's a huge process. It's a longish process. This generation seeks instant gratification. And therefore, perhaps that lack of practice is definitely there. One thing that I feel is there on the part of the teachers also. I think when we teach mathematics, we teach it as a very rigid subject. For example, when we are teaching English, when we are teaching SST, we ask for the opinions. Even in science, we say there is nothing wrong and all right, please answer. And the children are encouraged to answer and interact. In mathematics, it is either right or wrong. CBSE has been trying to, work upon it by telling that each step has marks, the process is much more important. The end result, of course, there are marks for end result, but it's not that either you get 5 marks or you get 0. But somehow, as teachers, we have failed to bring that flexibility while teaching, to encourage the child that yes, this has been done right, but the next step perhaps requires some kind of correction. So I think as teachers, we need to be flexible. We need to be more accepting so that we are able to, as Nirbal sir was saying, we are with the children and we provide right intervention at the right time. So just saying no, just saying wrong is not correct. Also, as Vivit sir said, language. As a language teacher, yes, I feel language is very, very important. But I do not agree with the fact that only language is important for mathematics. Because I feel children are able to understand. What they are not able to do is they're not able to analyze it. So you just present the formula to them and you give the figures to them. They'll be able to solve it out. But you give the language to them, they will be able to understand. But they cannot tell you which formula to apply where. So what is more missing is the analytical skills, the understanding of the question, the way it is presented, and then assimilating it, analyzing, and then recalling your knowledge and putting the right concept over there. So I feel that is missing.
So ma'am, in one line we can say that tell them this has to be done, but why this has to be done, this why is not clear. That is why there's always a problem in mathematics that has to be done.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Varsha ma'am, we will also come up to you now. Again, in your opinion, why do some other points you want to add? Why do children lose interest in mathematics, especially during the middle school? Ma'am, you're on mute, ma'am.
Sorry.
Yeah.
The distant speakers, they have really analyzed it in so much in depth. And I can see that a lot of thought has gone into what they are speaking into it. Now, what I feel when I was listening to our speakers, I was wondering, and I was thinking that we're talking about middle schools, and suddenly this phobia develops. So I think we will have to see these children are coming from primary. So from primary, the journey is continuing to middle school. So what is happening in primary section, wherein the children are, if you see their marks, they are amazing, children are doing good, parents are happy, teachers are happy, mark sheets are speaking like 90 plus, and of course it gradually goes on decreasing. So if we see various components like teacher, the major one, the curriculum, the learning resources, and of course the child. The child is grade 1 and 2, they are 6 and 7 and 8 years old, and then when they come to middle school, they are 12 years old. They have done 6 years of formal education. And I think when we are talking about all these factors, we'll have to see what is happening in primary section. Why can't it continue in middle school then? If you see primary section, there's ample learning resources. As children grow, the learning resources are manipulatives. They somehow, vanish from the scene. And what is left is, child is left with only chalk and talk. Okay. So this is main reason I think they don't have any learning resource wherein they can, do some activities and what they have been doing in past. Another thing I've seen, you see the primary teachers, they are so enthusiastic about teaching. This is what I've observed. You see the teachers of grade 1, 2, 3, 4, and you see the teachers of grade 7, 8, and 9. And you compare, and principals will agree with me. What is it that the enthusiasm goes down? Primary teachers are so enthusiastic about it. As teaching a small concept, they are bubbling with the enthusiasm. So I think children relate to teachers' enthusiasm, which affects their performance. This is very important.
Yes.
We feel that, when it comes to mathematics and the performance, memory plays a vital role. To some extent, yes. But Are we teaching children what to memorize? We are not teaching children what to memorize. Children are drawing their own conclusions about the memorization, and they are memorizing, I think, whatever their hands is on, like, and they memorize everything, and here everything, the complete mathematics start going wrong. So we, I think, need to teach children what to memorize. Of course, memory is an important aspect of education, but what is very important? Another thing which I feel is, I think Ruchika ma'am has rightly pointed out, and another second Ruchika ma'am has also rightly pointed out, parents' involvement. If you see grade 1 to 5, parents are involved in students' education. Gradually, this involvement in education, I would say, start, the downhill. The parents start completely start depending on the coachings, the teachers, and somehow they withdraw. So I think these are few aspects I feel that gradually, by the time we realize, is little disheartening, but they start
That's it.
losing interest. Another
These are
very
the facts, ma'am.
yeah. Another very important misconception we all teachers, especially math teachers, have is about, practice. Practice makes perfect. Okay, fine, it's true. But how much and why? The concept is not understood. And then we are asking children to go on solving the sums 10 and 15 and remedial. What is remedial? Actually, it's not remedial. It's again solving few more sums. So I think these factors, if we take care of, we will be able to sustain the interest, which is very important. And maths is not a forgiving subject.
Absolutely right, ma'am. If the concept is not clear, what's the use of practicing it again and again? The concept has to be clear. And after there's a practice, we'll make it more perfect. Thank you so much, ma'am. We'll come up to Sunita versus ma'am. Ma'am, in precise, please suggest us few ways how can a teacher make maths more interesting?
Yes, sir, this is very important because until and unless we have that inclination for solving the mathematics, which actually becomes a kind of fear or a phobia for students, there should be always, as ma'am rightly said, first of all, the teacher's enthusiasm is very important. Teacher need to be enthusiastic as far as teaching of mathematics is concerned. Then it is more like not practice, not say practice, hands-on practice. Hands-on practical, because multiple times we have seen that the redundant method of teaching is going on in classes. The teachers are not paying attention to the innovative technologies or innovation in the method of teaching where they can adopt certain games, certain things where the inquisitiveness can be inspired among the students, because until the children are interested, they will not be participative at all in any of the activity which you are doing in the class. So first of all, as per grade, you need to design certain games. Like, for example, if you're talking of the students in the primary group, why they are not scared? Because they are quite, they don't realize that we are insulted here or not. So that fear start coming when it is the middle section. When children, they start becoming self-conscious. By that time, you can actually inspire these children through different games. For example, if you ask the children to prepare a budget, by the time in primary sections, we are talking to them about multiplication and addition and subtraction. So at that time, you can ask the children to prepare a budget for their birthday parties. Or you can always take certain, give them hands-on practical, let them demonstrate the thing in front of the class. So you are actually serving two purposes. One thing is that they will, when they are into teaching or when they are into explanation, they will get into that developing of habit or getting into the detail of that topic first of all, and then they will, when they're explaining it to them, all the more they become confident. And that is going to make other also inspiring, because if they are not going to understand, when it is teacher, they are a bit apprehensive in asking their doubts. But when the same level student is explaining the things, definitely they will be more inquisitive, not because they are inquisitive about the subject, just for leg pulling. So when they are doing this, in that entire process, it is basically attracting the attention of each and every child present in class. So this is one thing. Secondly, we can always use visual aid, as sir rightly said, that when we are trying to explain things, we are only giving them a hypothetical concept and we are asking them to solve the questions. But when you're going to give a 3D presentation of it, definitely that will add on to their knowledge. I was a biology student, but both my kids are biomaths student. So my son, when he was practicing it, he told me, I told him, Menika, what is the correct way of explaining the volume of cylinder to a child? He very simply said, Mama, divide it into number of rings and ask the children to arrange the ring one above the other and let the like the area of one ring be multiplied by the number of or height of that cylinder. So I said, my God, it is so easy for a child to understand. For us, it becomes a huge task. But this should not be with the mathematics teacher specifically. Then you can have visual presentations. This is very important when you are asking the children to draw the any kind of like diagram, not only mathematical representations, but when you're talking to them to draw a biology related diagram, or you're asking them to like draw equations also, then you should always ask them to apply mathematics there also. Because until and unless you're integrating the subject, the purpose will not be served. We are not here only because, you know, it is maths is as important as language, because it is everywhere applicable. It is applicable in science also, it is applicable in different subjects, even in humanities it is applicable. You can correlate it with like the sports field. If you can ask the child why the basketball court is designed like that and why the badminton court has a limited space, so they can always correlate it with the number of players playing in that particular court. So these
Right.
certain things where, and one thing, we should never promote learning of formula. Rather than we should teach, as teachers, we should ask them to derive the formula. The day they will start deriving the formula, they will understand the concept of application.
If a child knows a timetable of till 20 or 25, he's very good. That concept was there, but now they don't have to learn.
It has become redundant, right? It has become redundant.
Right.
So, and the communication has to be always open, sir. The biggest problem is children, they become apprehensive when they come in the middle section.
Right.
They are hesitating in asking questions. And we need to, as teachers, we need to make them free. As madam.
So, ma'am, you cannot go after the teachers all the time.
Right.
There are certain things. We have a Santa Claus with us, Nirmal Shah sir, who has created a product like Grid, which is going to help the students as well as the teachers. So, Nirmal sir, coming up to you as an expert, whatever you like to say about what all the eminent guests have said, so many things they had to say. Throughout the day, if we speak about mathematics, it will be less, because this is a very, very old problem which is happening and is continuing till now. In this age of, computer age or whatever internet age, is still happening as of now. But you have created this thing as counting well. How this thing is coming, the phobia is being removed. You're making it more entertaining. You're making it more easy, because we say to the students that mathematics is the easiest subject. There are certain concepts of a chapter, whichever in the world, whatever book you take it out, any question take it out, that can be solved. But when you're talking about any other subject like SST, science, anything, the answer of all the questions are different. So what is more easy? The more easy is mathematics. So sir, how do you make it very simple for the students? And how are you helping to the teachers also? Because earlier you had told us that it is not removing the role of the teacher. How it is helping the teachers as well as the students? Over to you, sir.
Great, sir. This has been a wonderful discussion. And like you said, I was going to say the same thing, that if we really...
Yes, sir, I feel also that today we had the best of the discussion in the 20th episode. We had the best of the discussion today.
Absolutely. In fact, if we take all of these points, we can do like 1 week session just to cover all of that, that's how it has been. But it is also very true that these are actually real problems, right? And how much can just putting it in a NEP document or putting it in some kind of a 1 hour or 1 day or half day training session, how much of that can help? I think that ultimately, it is that we from the outside the industry, so to speak, and the schools, we all have to come together and deliver that solution in the benefit of the children. Right? Now, how we are, some of the things, some of the very interesting things which came up here. One point that Vivit sir brought up is, he said that they have to develop inner resources, and we have to be able to engage the mind of the child, right? Now, there are different ways to engage the mind of the child. In fact, one of the points also came up is that Sunita ma'am said, can we inspire them with games? In some way, I would link both of these ideas together. So, for example, one of the things that we have done is that instead of simply saying that here is a maths learning app and learn, now learning they are already doing in the classroom, learning they might be doing in tuitions. And if I say learn more, they will actually kick me out, right? They will say, "Aur kitna karaoge aap mere se?" So, what is the better way of doing that? Is that can we turn this into some kind of a situation where the children feel enthusiastic about it? So, for example, just right now, this Saturday we have the finals. We have something called Maths Premier League going on. So this is an event where we have invited a lot of schools. We sent out mailers, and almost I think about 600-700 schools have signed up. About 300 odd are very actively participating. And what we have done is that we have said that all the students in your class in your school have to participate from class 6 to 9, and the schools which have the highest total score will win a 7-foot tall trophy. Right now, that's a huge thing. The 7 foot is like taller than anybody in your you have seen ever, right? So that's the kind of trophy which will come to your school if all of you work together towards winning this trophy. Now, that is one side, that there is this trophy. But what we have also done as part of this is that, for example, for class 7, what we have done is that we said that we will cover rational numbers as part of this particular competition. Only one chapter. So we have taken one chapter for each class. The second thing we did is that we also did a differentiated test. So we did one kind of a qualifier test where we identified what are the strengths and weaknesses of all the children who are taking these tests. Now, based on that, we are not going to offer the same test at the end. The finals are going to be different. So if I am a so-called weak child, right, I will not give the same question that we will give to an advanced child, because they will just not be able to solve it. We are only furthering the breakdown of that confidence, right? So instead of that, what we did was we created a differentiated test. So we have grouped them into 3 categories, and each of them will get a different test, and the schools will get a weighted average score. The whole idea is that, one, we create that whole game kind of environment, the enthusiasm around winning a huge trophy and bringing it to your school. And the second is that can we link it with what they are studying in the class, right? What they're studying in the school. So we pick topics which they are learning. We say that you have to go through a learning course in order to qualify for the final. So every child has to go through a few hours of learning, about 2.5 hours each, over a period of time. And then they qualify for the final. So now we are actually making them learn whether they'll actually like to learn or not. Because of this trophy at the end of it, they learn. They enthusiastically learn for it. Right. So we create that whole situation. So that is how we create this environment where we engage the mind of the child. We create this whole gaming kind of feel to it. At the same time, we are making them learn. Now, the other aspect. Yes, sir.
Sir, I'd like to know first that how it is going through the process of the school through the teachers. I mean, if the school takes up an app for their students, how the process is going on, how the teacher is going to use it and pass it to the students.
That is the other side of it, right? So, a lot of comments came also about the teachers' enthusiasm, right? Varsha ma'am said that teachers start becoming less enthusiastic. I think that it's not purely the attitude of the teachers, it's also the amount of workload, right? Because now the syllabus has almost tripled for all right? Even though the book sizes might not look so different, but the actual content and the number of chapters has increased vastly. So the teachers are obviously under stress to complete the syllabus. And therefore, that enthusiasm starts to wane, because every day now these children are asking so many doubts. These children are asking the same question again and again. So the teacher starts becoming impatient as well, right? Teacher says, "Maine tumko 4 baar to samjha diya, ab aur kitna samjhaun?" So how do we help them overcome all of this? And that's where I said that, we have to be a part of that school ecosystem as well. So one thing what we have done is that to make it very easy for the teacher, what we have done is we have created something called a homework module. So instead of saying that, we have got this whole AI driven, this, that, it looks very complicated. Why not make it very simple? So all the complicated thing is behind the scenes. In front is just a simple homework module. We say that you pick a chapter, out of that, just pick 2 concepts that you have taught today and give the homework on that. Now, what is going to happen behind the scenes is that when the child answers those questions as part of the homework, we start analyzing what are the problems which the child is facing. Are they having skill gaps? Are they having a language comprehension issue? Are they not able to model the solution? Are they not able to analyze the question? Are they not able to calculate or work with numbers, or they don't know the concept at all? The second thing that we also kind of try to figure out is what are the learning outcomes that they are not able to achieve as part of that concept, right? So now we have also linked those concepts with specific learning outcomes which they should be achieving. So if they don't, now when they complete this homework, next day the teacher gets to see a report which says these are the skill gaps, these are the learning outcomes which your children have not achieved, and you can group them into categories as well. And therefore, if you have to provide remedial, you have actual data driven information available in front of you. You are not saying that आज बताओ कितने लोगों को समझ में आया, 4 लोगों ने हाथ उठाया तो समझ गए, नहीं उठाया नहीं समझे, right? Now that's a very basic way of doing a formative assessment. That's not a real formative assessment. Now what we are doing is we are doing actual data driven formative assessment. We are not calling it that. We are just saying homework, which makes it feel like it's very easy for the teacher. But there is a formative assessment which is happening. There is a diagnostic assessment which is happening. And this can be done for every chapter, every concept within a chapter. And that data is in front of the teacher and is in front of the management. Now, the other side is how do we make it even more easier for the teacher? So we did a WhatsApp integration. Now, this was the best part of it, because what we found is that we said, now teachers have to log in and they have to check the report, they have to assign the homework, or kitna kaam karwaoge aap inse. So what we did was we said, let's make it even simpler. There is a WhatsApp message which comes to you at a scheduled time, which says that, are you ready to assign today's homework? You say yes. There are just 4 things which are asked within your WhatsApp itself. You just have to select the chapter. You have to select any concept if you want to select concepts within that, and say assign homework. The homework gets assigned. Now, not only that, when the homework is done, we send a WhatsApp message back to you to say that so many kids did it, so many have not done. Here is your report. So the report is right there. Now the teacher does not have to log in. The teacher does not have to go anywhere. If you're sitting, in an auto rickshaw or bus or car or whatever, you're going home, you can just assign the homework, or you are coming back to the school in the morning. You can look at the report so you know what you have to prepare for today's class. Right?
So that means that is bringing down the work of the teachers also. They don't have to make assignments. They don't have to do the corrections. Yeah. And whatever time is left, they can concentrate on the students, because at the very same time, they are getting the report also where the children are lacking.
Exactly.
The maximum students are lacking in this concept. So we have to work more on that.
Exactly. We are
so
not.
That means it is,
yeah, sir. We are hiding all the complexity, right? Now, this is driven by AI. There is a very, very deep formative assessment which is happening. There is a diagnostic assessment which is happening. We are not telling teachers all of this, because the moment you say that, it is the same thing like parents telling the children कि maths बहुत difficult subject है. We tell the teachers that you have to do formative assessment, you have to do diagnostic assessment, you have to do learning outcome, you have to track learning outcomes. Then you are creating that difficulty for them. Now we are putting it all in very simple package. We just say आप homework दे दो, बाकी का काम हम कर लेंगे. But we are doing great work for them, and the teachers are actually able to take the next step beyond that. Right now, the point of doing all this is that they should be able to help the child go beyond. So that's where we come in.
That's great, sir. And at the very same time, children are also very happy, because during the class, as one of the ma'am was saying, that they hesitate to ask questions inside the class because they are self-conscious. So everybody will make fun of me. And at the very same time, when the teacher is saying, is this understood? Samajh mein aa gaya? Okay, the 3-4 of the front one will say yes. The rest of the class will say yes, ma'am, yes, sir. So teacher is saying sabko aa gaya. It has been done. But now students, if they are not able to ask the question in the class in front, and when they're using an app in a mobile, there's one-to-one teaching going on. There he is not hesitant. He sees that nobody's looking at him. He can ask the questions. And at the very same time, as you said, after 3, 4 times or 5 times, teacher says, how much times I'll tell that same concept to you again and again, because he'll get frustrated, but a machine never gets frustrated. And the very important thing, one more thing, is that you told us in the previous sessions also, the learning gap, because the student of grade 6 and 7, when he was during the pandemic, he has come in 8 now. the concepts are not clear because Google Baba did all the question and answers in all the subjects. What about mathematics? How do you deal that? कि मैंने मेरे बच्चे ने 6th में मैथ्स ठीक से नहीं करी, 7th में नहीं करी, पैंडेमिक में, अब वो 8th में आ गया. How are you going to help him now with your app?
So what we have done is that we have mapped the whole, all the set of learning outcomes, concepts, everything, right, for every class. Now, what we have also done is that we have mapped the whole chain. Instead of simply saying that in 7th standard, these are all the concepts, these are the sub-concepts, these are the learning outcomes, we said that for this particular learning outcome, this is the 7th standard concept that you have to know. But is there a specific 6th standard concept also which you should have known? Is there a 5th standard concept which also you should have known? Now, when we do when they do the homework or when we do an assessment also, we assess at the 7th standard level. If they don't answer it right, then we don't stop there and say that, okay, isko ye samajh mein nahi aa raha hai. We go one step back. We say, okay, now here is the related 6th standard outcome which you should be knowing. So let's go and check that. Do you know that in the first place? If they don't know that, then we go further back. So we go back as much as required. And once we have identified where that root cause is, then we start giving them the learning from that point. So instead of telling the child that you come up to my level, I say that I will go down to your level. I will teach you at your level first, and then we will together go up the levels, right? Instead of trying to pull the child. Now, see, there's the other thing jo aap bata rahe the, sir, ki in the class teacher says, samajh mein aaya to front benchers, yes. Back benchers, yes, ma'am. The middle ones, which is the majority of the population, is quiet, right? They are the ones who get ignored. Now, these are the ones who need the most help as well. Probably the backbenchers don't care, so it doesn't matter, though we want to help them. The front benchers are fine, right? It's the middle ones who are actually stuck. They don't ask the questions. They have problems with their previous learning. They don't know that themselves, and the teacher is not able to analyze it as well, and the teacher does not have time to go back to that level as well, right? So this is where we can do that intervention and say that we will do very, very personalized learning for you. You are in 8th grade, but there is a 6th grade topic which you did not know. We will go back to that level. We will teach it to you and bring you back to 8th, right? If you are not able to solve the problem because you don't have the ability to strategize a solution, we will help you with that. We will not straight away dump you and give you a very, very complex problem, because we know that this is a problem. So let's fix that. So this is the way we do the differentiated teaching and differentiated assessments, and that is how we are able to do that one-to-one, right? What you're saying, that one child, one teacher, there can be that kind of one-to-one personalization for every child.
The 40 students, 40 teachers, it becomes through this app. And it also lessens down the burden of the teacher also. And also his role is always there. It is helping the students as well as wonderful things are amazing. We'll come up to the next round because of shortage of time. I request that please make your answer very precise, 60 seconds, 1 minute answer. Although it is a very interesting topic. We'll come up to Vivek sir. Vivek sir, within 60 seconds, we want to know your answer that how this technology helps in making maths more interesting and easy.
So I will just seek your permission. Instead of 1 minute, give me 1.5 minutes, because 30 seconds I want to give.
Sure, sir.
Because I am completely blown away with the idea that you have shared here, Nirmal sir. I am amazed. I am completely intrigued, and I feel that the app that you're talking about, I would really want to see how it actually functions, and if it will be of much use, we can probably help our children in the classroom too much. So I also have one question, which probably after the session I'll speak to you and we can discuss on that. But since you have asked me to talk about the role of technology, before this session and before speaking, before listening to Nirmal sir, I felt that technology is of minimum help in mathematics. What we can do probably in mathematics would be prepare PPT, show some videos and some diagrams, etc., and then just try to involve the children. And it is the teacher who's the key role, who's going to play a key role in ensuring that the child is engaged into the learning and is able to understand the concept. But how sir has explained it, it is completely taking away that perception from me. And I feel that what we are trying at our school through different apps like Microsoft Excel, like integrating mathematics with computers, using Microsoft Excel for data handling and trying to work out on PowerPoint presentations, preparing those charts, pie charts and the bar graphs, and then There are certain students who are also working on Minecraft, which is again a fabulous platform which the children are actually using, and they get so much involved. So Minecraft is one area which I feel can help our learners, because it is completely AI based. It intrigues them because it is more game based learning about what is happening over there. So my take is that certainly after hearing Nirmal sir, I think technology can definitely play a vital role in ensuring that the children are engaged in mathematics and we take them away from the rote learning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It's actually a very critical problem. It's a very serious problem which has to be taken care in all the schools. I think so.
100%.
Thank you so much. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We'll come up to Ruchika Bhattani, ma'am. Ma'am, we will also like to know your views on the saying that technology helps in making maths more interesting and understandable.
I think so. Nirmal sir has said it all, and Vivid sir, like he said, uh, before that we were of the view the technology cannot help. Mathematics is one thing the teacher has to teach. But I believe with technology, like no two students are the same, and their learning methodology is not the same. Technology will help them with the personalized learning process. Suppose, like sir said, Nirmal sir said, if the child is not able to perform for class 7, then we go to the level of that child and then make them learn. This is what technology can help, because the children at times, every child is not a brilliant child in the class, and there are the middle ones. Like he said, the backbenchers, they are also not interested. The toppers, they are sitting in the front and they know what is to be done, and half of the class is doing at the tuition center. But the ones who cannot afford the tuitions also, and in the middle, the ones who are in the middle group, they are the most affected ones, I suppose, because उन पे कोई ध्यान नहीं देता. For the backbenchers, every teacher is बेटा pass हो जाएगा किसी तरह से, and for the frontliners, no, you have to score 100% or maybe 98, 99 की line में आना बेटा. But for the mediocre ones, nobody pays attention, I suppose. So that is one concept. And technology, yes, like we saw in the pandemic also, there were so many YouTube lessons. At times in schools, the child does not have a choice for the teacher. The teacher who is assigned for the particular class, you don't have a choice that I want to read from this particular teacher and I will read from that teacher. No. But if for technology, the child has a choice. आपको किसी एक का YouTube लेसन नहीं समझ में आया, you switch over to the other one, you switch over to the second one. नहीं समझ में आया, उसका process समझ में आ रहा है, उस पे चले जाओ. Like technology can, well, these are the customized lessons for you, and it can be at your own pace. If you haven't understood the full, the teacher is going at a pace in the classroom, but with the technology, आपको नहीं समझ में आया, pause कर दो, understand that, rewind that, learn again, then continue.
Right.
It is only a personalized lesson for the using the technology. That
Right.
is my take for the use of technology in mathematics.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We'll come up to Ruchika Sapija, ma'am. Ma'am, we want to know your views on the saying that it is often seen that children learn mathematics instead of understanding it.
Yeah, I think because ma'am has already summed it up, that yes, why they are already mugging it up and why they are not understanding, because it's not a creative subject for them. It's like we impose only challenges. But now I think with the use of what Nirmal sir is saying, with the use of this app, perhaps we can make it fun and challenge, which is going to offer better prospects to the children also. Also, on a very personal level, I personally feel that learning mathematics is like learning music or learning arts. It's like the basics remains the same, but the problems have tons of variability. So it's like in arts, in music, you have to learn the basics. Similarly, in mathematics, if you learn the basics, perhaps it will they can solve various kind of problems also. So perhaps with this app and the other creative ways that we are using in the class, perhaps we will be able to take the children from rote learning to the understanding. Once we
Right.
are able to bridge that particular gap, I think we'll be able to reach out to the students also. Also, another major reason I feel why they resort to rote learning is because they feel ultimately the assessment has to be done on pen and paper. And ultimately, we have a marks oriented approach. So if I learn this and if I write this, I'll get the marks, and the parents and teachers will be happy. But I think this needs to be, of course, taken away. Of course, we can say that ultimately they have to appear in CBSE exams. But I think understanding here is much, much, much more important. And then marks take care of themselves. Marks will automatically come once the basics are clear. So perhaps with this usage of this app, perhaps I think with the right intervention, as we are saying, 40 students and 40 teachers, everybody can do at his or her own pace, we will be able to reach out to the students, and perhaps they'll be able to understand much more.
Absolutely right, ma'am. Absolutely right, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. We'll come up to Varsha, ma'am. Varsha, ma'am, we will also like to have your intake on the saying that children try to learn mathematics instead of understanding it.
I feel that, the system we're living in, to some extent, rather major extent, is responsible. How do we rate the schools? We also as schools boast about the result. We have 10th and 12th. How do we tell in percentage? Okay. How do we rate student teachers' performance? Subject averages, isn't it? What happens is filters down to the students. If teacher knows that, okay, my performance is going to be, judged by the subject average, and then children also come to know, okay, like this. And then teachers also, we are, no matter how theoretically we want them to teach, we want them to relate it to life, we want them to use maximum learning resources, we want them to be enthusiastic, we want them to see that where the child is, faltering, and help the child and customize it or personalize it. But it's not possible, because ultimately that frame is there. And as Sir has rightly pointed out, the curriculum, the content load, and ultimately we are indirectly compelling child to learn than to understand it, isn't it? So the one is the examination system. Now, by the time children are, 6 and 7 and 8 years into formal education, they are 8th standard, 9th standard, they actually have honed and learned the examination system, because it's very predictable. So they know how to get marks. Okay. So now the learning takes the back seat, understanding takes the back seat. They have learned it, how to take the examination, how to get the maximum percentages. So I think these things are responsible for making children, learn than to understand. Our focus also is not on understanding, making children understand. It's, making children get maximum marks. Our yardstick has to change, and we hope to see the change in near future.
Absolutely right, ma'am. We are running towards the marks, not towards the understanding. Thank you so much, ma'am. We'll come up to Sunita, ma'am. Sunita, ma'am, we'd like to know your views on the saying that the post-pandemic children, after pandemic, they have become smart. Thus, the teacher has to become more smarter than them. A precise answer, ma'am, in short.
My take on this is that it was just because of COVID that all of us have become virtually so efficient over the period of time. That means we work better under pressure. So a teacher, even if the teacher is a teacher by compulsion and gets a smarter lot of student, then definitely the teacher has to become smarter than that. So definitely when post-pandemic children, they are having so much access to so much of the content which is available on internet, that they keep on flipping things and they keep on getting questions, and they feel fun when they are troubling teachers with their inquisitiveness. So I must say, yes, the teacher has to come up to the expectation. If you be like doing justice to your profession and you are passionate about your job, then definitely the teachers need to be well aware of what all is happening around the world, because the ultimate source is Google Baba. So when the Google Baba is giving them so much of insight, they are there to trouble you. And I really feel, I take it as a challenge for the teachers also, that yes, this smart generation definitely is going to raise the standard of the teacher also higher. because they will be coming up with the question, and as a teacher, we are there to answer them. So yes, definitely they need to be better and as well off with the technology. They need to be smarter as far as technology is concerned.
Absolutely right, ma'am. But teachers sometimes they're confused at what they should use, how they can make the things better.
Right.
People like yes, ma'am. People like
Actually,
Nirmal Shah sir, who have created these type of apps like labs like
yes,
Outing Well.
yes.
They are very helpful to the teachers. You see, it has to pass through. Already have talked to him in other sessions. Also, this is not going to remove the role of the teacher.
Right.
So it will
So
be
what
very
to
helpful.
congratulate Nirmal sir for that, sir. It is indeed, yes, definitely the application of AI along with mathematical definitely. And when it is easing out the job of the teacher, definitely the teachers will be liking it, and definitely the students will be analyzed, because a single human being cannot analyze all the students with respect to what are their learning gaps or where they are lacking in skills also. So yes, I must congratulate you, Nirmal sir, for coming up with such a wonderful app.
Thank you.
Varsha ma'am, you want to say anything? Ma'am, you're on mute.
It's a habit, after talking, putting it off. So I would like to know a little more about the Maths app, if you don't mind, please.
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
Probably in future.
Right. That's right, ma'am. I'll exchange the numbers of all of you with each other. You should know each other. Thanks to technology, that was the only positive attitude of pandemic. The technology came over here and we got connected, and the children are getting benefited to that. These AI-based things, they were not in common when before the pandemic, but now they have become the part and parcel of life. Nirmal sir, please, one or two things more you want to tell the concepts of 20 minutes, because the parents say, okay, you have made our child addicted to the mobiles and everything. So how are you doing with that? Also, one more point we can discuss right now.
Sure. So 20-minute concept is very simple. So this is something which even I have a concern that my child should not be using the gadgets for too long. Last 2 years, we gave it to them and, they had total freedom to do what they want. But this is the time when the parents are kind of coming back with a vengeance, right? They're taking away the gadgets. They're not giving them the phones anymore. So what we also realized is that we have to make sure that we are able to deliver sufficient learning, but at the same time, how do we avoid them spending too much time on the gadget? So what we did was we broke down every chapter into its individual learning outcomes. So in general, every chapter we kind of break it down into about 15 to 20 learning outcomes, and then whatever learning modules we have are linked with each of these outcomes. So we have every learning outcome then takes about 5 to 7 minutes to achieve. Now, obviously, it is in a chain, but if you just take up one learning outcome, then you would finish that in about 5 to 7 minutes. So what we were able to do then is that we said that if you take up, let's say, 20 minutes of learning today, you will achieve 3 to 4 learning outcomes today. And that is enough. We don't want you to focus more, right? Because one, obviously, children have very little attention span. More than 20 minutes, anyway, they are distracted. And second is that, that whole idea of not giving them too much screen time. So in 20 minutes, you have achieved 3 to 4 learning outcomes. Now come back tomorrow to another 20 minutes. By the end of the week, you would actually have finished, 10, 12, 15 learning outcomes. In 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you would actually finish the chapter, which is enough time, right? So we were able to rationalize it. At the same time, we were able to maintain that screen time for the children.
So the most important thing is there are many good teachers who can finish up 3 to 4 exercises in one day when there is emergency to finish up the syllabus. But that mixes up what you said, jack of all, master of nothing. Nothing, they don't achieve anything. But when this goes up with the 3 to 4 concepts every day, and the child is coming up, why he's coming up to the app? Because he's getting interested. You see, he's able to solve it. He's able to get that. He's able to do that. Surely he'll take interest into that. But that interest has to be created. When you are telling 3 to 4 concepts only one day, he's feeling I'm not overburdened, first of thing. And the things are separated and are clear to him. Likewise, and be doing 3 to 4 concepts every day, he'll become perfect in a subject for sure. Thank you so much, Nirmal sir. You have created such a wonderful thing. And maths creating an app. I've seen people creating apps of many other things, but creating a maths is also, it's a very courageous work to do. And wonderful things you have into that. So many tests, assignment, other things you also have told earlier also. that you have the financial type of things with examples and many things you have where the children take interest. If this thing happening, the matches are happening, if matches go like this, what will happen? So instead of telling them that you are learning this, this topic, so they afterwards they come to know, better if you did this, you have learned this concept now. So that becomes very interesting for them. And every teacher has to make his or subject very interesting. Thank you so much, Nirmal sir. Thank you so much. Coming up to the last part of the session, 5 to 10 minutes, we have the legacy of this show that at the end of the show, this is 5 to 10 minutes of the principals, where they have to sing 2 lines of a song. It may be Hindi or any regional or patriotic, or it may be filmy, anything. 2 lines. Because Vivid sir will get the benefit of being the senior one, the freshers will have to sing first. So we can say of all the ladies, who is the youngest one can sing first. No problem. We'll start up with Varsha ma'am. Ma'am, you're always on mute, ma'am, while answering also, not song ke time bhi mute ho.
Please, I have not sung a song in my life.
Sir, I'll take the lead. I think all of us can sing together. First,
no, ma'am. The paper has not to be solved all.
First of all, I'd like to sum up the earlier thing by saying that yes, great technology requires greater teachers, and smart technology requires smarter teachers. So of course, since sir is doing that, thank you so much, Nirmal sir. And since we are all of us are celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, many programs are going on in our schools. So I think it's the right occasion to sing Sare Jahan Se Acha together here. So let's go ahead and
but we will sing that together, but all the question paper has to be solved separately, ma'am.
Definitely.
It is a mass cheating, ma'am. It's a mass cheating. That will not be allowed. All the gyan is over now. This is me time of all the educators now. Last 5 to 10 minutes is a me time.
Chandhok sir is, making sure that the agenda is fulfilled.
Agenda is already fulfilled, ma'am. Agenda is fulfilled. Now let's move. Let's keep it aside and let's talk about ourselves, because throughout that day we have so much stress. So stress buster, time should also be there. What you call that, me time. So Varsha ma'am, if you start up with the line, 2 lines only, ma'am. We won't listen 3 lines even. Any song, ma'am.
Can someone start, please? I will think about it. Then song, some 2 lines.
I think we can all sing together.
Okay, Ruchika Sukija ma'am will sing first.
Yeah.
Ma'am, please.
Jahan se acha Hindustan hamara sari jahan se acha hum bulbuli hai iski ये गुलसिता हमारा सारी जहां से. These are 2 lines. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Ma'am, that will be added to your credit only, ma'am. Others were cheating, ma'am. No problem. That is a patriotic song, so that will be a combination one. We'll come up to Ruchika Bhutani, ma'am.
I have a very bad throat, but still I'll be a sporting one. I'll sing 2 lines only.
Sure, ma'am.
वक्त ने किया क्या हसीन सितम हम रहे न हम तुम रहे न तुम वक्त ने किया. Thank you so much. I really have a bad throat. I was coughing all the time.
Ma'am, this song can be dedicated to mathematics also, ma'am. Maths ne kiya itne se tam, the students say like this one. We'll come up to Sunita ma'am now. Sunita ma'am.
My God, I don't know. I am very fond of singing, but my throat never supports me. But yes, I will take the privilege of doing it here, because I know this is a small group and it is not going to go far away. So the song goes like this. एक दिन बिक जाएगा माटी के मोह, जग में रह जाएंगे प्यारे तेरे हो, दूजे के होठों को देखकर अपने की कोई कहानी में फिर दुनिया से बोल एक दिन बिक जाएगा माटी के मोल. Thank you so much.
Sunita ma'am, we are talking to the Indian Idol people that they should start up a season with educators. Ruchika ma'am, with bad throat, you sung so song, Bhutani ma'am, Ruchika Bhutani ma'am, you sung so well. And Sunita ma'am also, you sung so well. You people are going to the quarterfinals for sure. Already decided. Varsha ma'am, now so you might have decided the song.
I'll please forgive me with the lyrics, okay?
No problem, ma'am.
जब कोई बात बिगड़ जाए, कोई मुश्किल पड़ जाए, तुम देना साथ मेरा, ओ हम नवाज. Thank you.
Now the gentleman will sing. Vivid sir will sing now.
Thank you, Chandok sir. However, I am not a singer at all, but just on your request, I am going to do this. So I'm recalled of a song that is very old, and क्योंकि हम मैथ्स की बात कर रहे हैं तो कुछ थोड़ा सा उसमें एक से अनेक की बात हो जाए, है ना? क्योंकि हम जब मैथ्स पढ़ाते हैं तो वो फाइनाइट टू इनफाइनाइट की जो जर्नी है वो बहुत अमेजिंग जर्नी है. तो हम उसके बारे में थोड़ा सा एक सॉन्ग है. हिंद देश के निवासी सभी जन एक हैं, हिंद देश के निवासी सभी जन एक है, भाषा अनेक है, भाषा अनेक है. Right. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. It was a very different song. सबको आता भी नहीं होगा सर ये तो.
I remember this. This was from that animated thing, right?
एक चिड़िया अनेक चिड़िया, एक चिड़िया एक अनेक चिड़िया, वो वाला song. I got that. I was just taking that also. Right. Nirmal sir, you are the attraction of the show, sir. You are the expert.
Sir,
now you need to be expert of the song also, sir.
Okay, so this is my favorite.
मैथ्स की ऐप छा गई है.
Yeah.
मैथ्स की ऐप तो छा गई है, तो आपका सॉन्ग छाना चाहिए.
अब ये मैथ्स वाला ही सॉन्ग है.
Okay.
दुक्की पे दुक्की हो या सत्ते पे सत्ता, दुक्की पे दुक्की हो या सत्ते पे सत्ता, गौर से देखा जाए तो बस है पत्ते पे पत्ता, कोई फर्क नहीं अलबत्ता, कोई फर्क नहीं अलबत्ता. Thank you.
You're making math simple, ना? उसमें पत्ते पे पत्ते रखना nothing. It's very easy. Don't कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. It's very easy. Please go ahead with your mathematics. Sir. Amazing,
Sir, we are
amazing.
not going to leave you as well.
Now it's your turn.
Right, ma'am. Right, ma'am. Okay, I'll have to think again now.
No.
आने वाला पल जाने वाला है, हो सके तो इसमें जिंदगी बिता दो, पल जो ये जाने वाला है, ओ आने वाला पल. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Clapping to me also. Thank you so much. I hope you all had a good time. We had known each other
Absolutely
about
amazing
itself.
time. Absolutely amazing time.
Thank you so
Absolutely,
much,
it was
sir.
a
Thank you
pleasure,
so
sir.
much.
As I told you, COVID has given us this opportunity, and I'm really enjoying this as the positive side of COVID. So,
Absolutely right, ma'am.
pleasure
Thank you
with
so much, everyone, for coming.
Thank
it was a
you,
pleasure.
Chandok.
Do
For
get
your
connected
initiative
with each
all
other.
good people.
You. And I really enjoyed this session, interacting with all the gorgeous ladies and two gentlemen here. And Chandok sir, is all because of you. You have brought us on one platform.
It is the one platform which is
Yes,
really
one
amazing.
platform.
Thank you so
Learn
much. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Which will definitely will take it back to our team.
For
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. And I'll be sharing the contact details with each other. So you people should remain connected with each other. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, Ruchika Bhutani ma'am, Sunita ma'am,
Thank you, sir.
Ruchika
Thank
Sukhija
you so
ma'am,
much, sir.
Gopivit Gupta sir, Nirmal sir, and Varsha ma'am. Hope to see you another session, another season once again. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.